Welcome to Zentangle Project Pack number 30, day 3. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and we're having such a good time with these
Isn't this
nomads.
beautiful?
Oh, I know. I'm just loving it. And it just brings me back to so much of the time I've spent drawing on this kind of a surface.
Right. And we're just so grateful for the surface, the tools, and the time to do this. And
all our friends who are tangling
Yes.
along with us.
So Maria's starting out with an 05.
And this shape, it's like a elongated S shape, and I'm holding down the tiles so that it's easier to get around it. And we're going to sort of put a tethered aura here, making like a fat, long, skinny S. And that's a beautiful way of starting something with these graceful curves, and I'm just loving the whole idea. And this particular nomad doesn't really have a name yet, but at some point in time it will have.
And you see Maria's using that Hollibaugh technique of drawing behind by, when you get to a shape, just stopping the pen and then picking it up on the other side.
So now we have almost like it looks like a bird flying in the air, right? So we're going to go back and forth with this with tethered auras. That means that they're connected at one end and at the other. Oh, we're going to put a little detail in here first.
And just going up but not going all the way, and you'll see what Maria does with this.
Pretty simple.
And working with these nomads, it's think of it almost like it's a Tangle sketch pad of like working with new assemblies of the basic strokes. So
these tethered auras are going to be a little bit wider than some auras. You can see because we're working bigger than we usually do on just a tile. So we're going to go back and forth on.
Right, it's sort of like some of the other tangles like X, where you go back and forth and you end up with that weaving, or like an arucus.
Right. And again, we're going to do the tethered aura and stop at the other lines.
And that pushing down on those the tiles, sometimes they get bent a little bit or they curl.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but we've got some really damp weather here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it affects the paper more than we think. To me, my paper is alive, and I treat it like it has feelings at different times, and you have to just take that into consideration.
And this back and forth is also using that technique quite often of take off and land. As you see, they come together.
And the steps on this are so simple. They're just a few steps, and they go on and on. And I love stuff like that because you can lose yourself very quickly. So I'm holding down the board.
And what's interesting about this is actually more interesting than your blotters, because you can't rotate your blotters.
Right, that's right.
So you got more. Everybody doing this has a pen up on Maria, as
that's
it were.
Right. Yeah.
And I love the rhythm of how you're just going back and forth and enjoying the process, not with the idea of I got to get this done, but appreciating it each step, each time along the way.
So what I was just referring to when I was pointing to that center, we can know where we're at because that particular S is different than the other particular S. So you kind of go by that.
Right, and every time you rotate the tile, you want that, or the idea is that those tethered auras would always go behind the previous one.
Right.
Or the one in the other direction.
So I wanted this to become pretty fat. As opposed to an X sign, I wanted it to be like almost
Almost
the
square, actually.
Vitruvian man looking thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have those internal angles as much.
Mm-hmm. But whatever you do to me is just wonderful. Don't. We are just trying to get you to put a pen on the paper.
Right.
And more often than not, I'm saying this with all honesty, you might come up with something even more exciting than what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is like, and you look at the end, we've all been doing these together here at Zentangle, and you're going to see how differently everybody else did them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking for. In art, you don't want it to look like everybody else is in the class.
Right.
You want it to have a rhythm and look of its own that you can recognize.
And you might choose to do this, each day along with the videos, because then you'll come up and won't be affected by what everybody else did. Or you can wait and then watch all of them together at the end, watch the whole series.
See?
There you go. So it's this whole like unified shape without any dents or whatever. And I just love the care and affection that you work with. So
our journey through this tile is that they won't all be the same size. You can see that I'm going a little bit smaller than the previous one. And you just want to have this back and forth rhythm.
And what are you thinking about when you where do I put the next one?
Well, I'm looking at how I spaced the previous ones, the one that Molly did and the one that Julie did, and that I sort of want to, because I know that we have a few more to do, and so I am spacing these. One of them I really wanted to be on the line between the two tiles, so you can see the one I'm doing right there, because I wanted to skew the colors. So once these are all done and shaded and everything, you won't see the difference in the tiles so much. You can see Julie did it, and then on the corner, and Molly did it. It produces a composition that makes sense to me.
Right, because one of those pencils is very close to that green, so you can pull it across the sides. You can see how Julie did that. And you can really appreciate the impact of adding the color, the shading, and the highlights.
And we're drawing behind now. It's always a little bit of a challenge, but you know, as time goes on, you get so used to it, and then you realize it doesn't have to be exact. It just has to be a reference to it.
Right.
You know. So I'm going in with this 01 here, and adding some
in
thatching. Where it comes up to those lines that go under.
So it's like a technique from the old comic strip.
Yep.
Art.
Or newspaper illustrations years and years and years ago, before they had photographs.
So it's like the etching into a copper plate or something for shading.
Yeah. And it's such an easy way to add some depth.
And it's, again, it's just such a beautiful meditation, because you've got this, what do we call it?
What?
You've got this lovely tangle here that you know exactly what you're going to do for the next few minutes, and you can just really revel in that each stroke.
You get lost in it.
Yeah.
See, we're starting to blur the borders.
Right. And just having fun with that. It does look like an old etching, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And then we'll do that, or Maria will do that same on every other one. Just taking your time. And you also may decide to do it differently as well, because when I did mine, I didn't use this, because I hadn't watched you do it. I just saw the result. It's like, oh, okay. So now that all of the ink is down, cap your pen. I always say that because the caps are different.
So we're going in with the green chalk pencil. And you can see I'm trying to hide those differences, and it will make sense afterwards.
Working.
Yeah.
And you get a sense of, and you probably already have, the difference of working on this surface. And I just absolutely love this because the colors are so super saturated.
Mm-hmm. It's a totally different experience than the paper we've been using.
Right. You know, the pen, the ink is like going into all those little fibers instead of just laying on top.
This is the blue.
So layering these colors, it just makes it complex and just a little bit like sophisticated and very interesting.
So I'm not doing as much like the green. We did it pretty much all there, but I just thought there needed to be a little bit more drama in there, and the blue does that.
You can already like compare the one that she's working on with the adjacent ones and how it transforms it. And we'll just go through all of them, and you'll see she's alternating some of the colors, like sometimes starting with the blue, sometimes starting with the green. Fun.
If you look at the first one, it almost has a stained glass effect, the first one that we did.
Oh, yeah. I love how that's coming together.
Mm.
And of course, adding some graphite. Just look at how that pops that up over the one underneath.
Doesn't take much, right?
No. Definitely lift it up. I mean, it's got this cool tube that got a pencil on one side and a tortillon on the other side.
Well, it helps me right now with holding on to the small pencils in the tortillons.
And you got a bunch of tortillons because we're mixing up the colors here.
Right. You can see it on that one right there. Is just that. How cool is that?
This is going to be really good. We're only partway through, so now with the jelly roll.
And I'm trying to keep it simple because there's so much going on in this tile that I don't think it takes much to add to things.
That really jumps out.
Yeah.
And a light touch with that.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
So remember though, but that these the white and even
Well, the brown.
the brown takes a while to dry
Yeah.
on this particular stuff, and again we've had some damp weather, so I like it. I like how it's coming along.
Beautiful. So thank you for joining us for this day, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow or
Okay.
the next day. And enjoy.
Okay. See you later.
Bye now.
Bye.